Well, welcome to another edition of Around the Lake. And today we have Be Organized, which is a new chamber member with Krystal Bajkor. And Krystal, we met the other night at a Lake Norman Chamber Business After Hours we had over at Symphony Park. Was that the first event that you went to as a Chamber of Commerce member?
Great. Yeah. First, thank you, Bill, for having me on. I'm happy to be here. It was the first event, and I was excited to meet everybody, part of the chamber, and also our networking companions at Symphony Park. It was great.
You shared with me the other day, had a chance to sit down and talk at Symphony Park, and you shared what Be Organized is. But for people watching this video, what is Be Organized? B-E-E Organized. What is that?
Yes, we do have a little bee logo. I think it's absolutely adorable, but it's easy to remember us, Be Organized. So my team and I transform spaces and simplify lives through professional home and business organizing, concierge services, and moving support. So decluttering, packing, unpacking. Pretty much we create calm, functional spaces to help people have more time for what matters most.
And you said you do this both residentially and commercially.
Yes, that's right.
Is it more of a focus on residential or just pretty much spread out?
That's usually our client demand comes from that area, but businesses also need our help. So creating functional systems for their employees to use on a daily basis.
And I'm looking at your website, beorganized.com, and you talk about the services. Talk about all the services that you provide.
Right. So we focus on our 3 lines of services. So home and business organizing, we will go in, assess the space, and decide by talking with the client what they use the space for, what's most important to them. And then we create a customized plan and we set up a project time and date, and we'll come in and we will set up the organizational system to really support their lives. And for concierge services, that's helping busy mamas out, usually an extra pair of hands. We could all use it sometimes, and we all deserve it. So we will go in and help them on day-to-day tasks or even decorating for seasonal holidays. And our moving services are very popular too. So packing, unpacking, preparing to pack, all of the things that most people just don't enjoy, but we absolutely love it.
How do you deal with the people that say, oh, I simply can't part with this, and I can't part with that, and I can't part with this? I mean, because everybody, it's their treasure, but we don't have room to put all of our treasures.
Absolutely. And us, especially as Americans, we just love our things, and I'm one of them. So I think that when we come in, we have a process, we have a system, and we involve the client as much as they want to be involved. But normally we focus on one specific part of the project. And it's only for a small amount of time. We take care of the big stuff. And so they come in and we will ask them to go through all of their items that we've categorized and make a decision on what's going to stay, what will be donated, what will go on to the end of their life. And we will ask them, is this really important to you? Does this have sentimental value? Is this something that you are going to use within the next year? And if not, we help them with the purging process. So my favorite quote that I always come back with is store things at the store. So how many times do you drive by a Target or Walmart? There's an endless variety of items right there. So it's not that you have to have them in your house forever and ever. You can store things at the store, and then when you actually get to the point that you need them, just go pick them up.
I know it's Be Organized Lake Norman. So I have in my mind what is your territory, but what do you consider your actual territory that you work?
Great. So it's a greater Lake Norman area: Huntersville, Cornelius, Davidson, Mooresville, and Denver. And we go further than that, and we can travel further. We're always willing to hop on a plane, but this is our bread and butter. This is our community. All of the bees on my team live within Lake Norman, and we have lived, most of us, for many, many years, and we're happy to serve the community that we are part of.
Krystal, how did you get into this?
Yeah, so Well, I'm a busy mom. So when my children were young and they were at home, I myself found myself really overwhelmed with all of the task items, all of the demands for me, and I couldn't keep up with everything until I said enough is enough, and I started creating certain systems. I did a lot of research, and the systems that I put in place are still the ones that I use today now that my children are older, and they have gotten my life to the point where it's so simplified that my day-to-day is really quick and easy when it comes to tidying and keeping up with chores. And I just wanted to share that with other not only moms, but other people in the area that could use that simplicity in their life. I also have a background in corporate America and working for small businesses. And so I've seen how much goes into growing a business, and I wanted to be able to do that for my own. And also, if I'm going to put so much time and effort into something, I'd rather it be for something that's meaningful to me, something I can help others.
Krystal, without naming names, what is the most unusual thing that somebody absolutely just couldn't part with, but you finally convinced them? What's the most unusual thing?
There's a client that had a very large tub of passed down peacock items. So they had, I think it was a great aunt that had a huge collection. And when she passed, this woman inherited all of the hundreds of peacock items. And so she didn't want to get rid of them. And so we went through and we decided which ones were her favorite. And she was able to narrow it down to 5. And we actually, instead of having them all in the basement, we brought those 5 up to a very visible area in her house so she could admire them and appreciate them on a daily basis. And then the rest of them were donated. And she was able to still keep the memory of her great aunt and have more space in her basement.
You know, you mentioned your aunt. I had a great aunt. It was my grandfather's sister. And she had F&B dolls, you know, that they're celebrity type of dolls. So there was a Marilyn Monroe and a John Wayne and all Winston Churchill. But she must have had 50 or 60 of these F&B dolls still in their original box.
Wow.
She was just collected. And when she passed, I don't know what they did with those dolls, but I just remembered that she just had a room full of dolls that
Right.
just took up space.
Right. A lot of these things we've collected over our lifetime, and at the very end, they're important to us, but they might not be as important to others. So, right, we all collect something one way or another.
Yeah. Now, I know we talked the other night, you live in Huntersville. What is it you enjoy most about living in the Huntersville, Lake Norman region?
Well, to backtrack a little bit, my husband and I actually looked all over the world before we decided to live here in Huntersville. And we went on a round the world trip for 7 months and visited 17 different countries
Oh,
and
wow.
hundreds of cities. Originally moving both of us from Florida, and we knew we wanted something that ticked all the boxes, beautiful weather and a great place to raise our children. And after our grand adventure, we decided to move here to Huntersville. So we don't regret that to this day. We love it here.
Well, we enjoy having you here, and we are very thankful to have you involved in our Chamber of Commerce now. Came out to your first event the other day, but there's lots of things going on at the Chamber, so please get involved. And we want to thank Joe Vagnone. He's a local business broker, and he's the presenting sponsor of Around the Lake. But Krystal, thank you for sharing a little bit about Be Organized and a little bit of tips about when you're making that transition maybe into a smaller space.
Absolutely. We're here to help. We offer complimentary consultations too. You can find all of our information on our website. Thanks for having me, Bill.
Thank you, Krystal.
Bye-bye.